welcome back to another interview that I'm having in the series. Today we have a new person on. Today, introduce yourself.
I'm Chase with NEPA Wolfpack from northeastern Pennsylvania.
Awesome to have you on here, Chase. We're going to jump right into the questions if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
Okay, first question. How did you get started in airsoft itself?
Let's see here. Probably about 16, 17 years ago or so, I was playing paintball when I lived down in New Jersey. I moved up here. I moved back to Pennsylvania, I did. And about 8 years ago, a buddy of mine mentioned about going down to an indoor airsoft arena. And he goes, "You want to go and try it?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." I said, "I never played it, but I got a general idea." I said, "I don't have no gear. I don't have no guns, no nothing. I don't really know what I need." So he set me up with everything and whatnot. And the first gun I used was it was an MP7. It was, and he took me down to Plains, and that was a great time.
Awesome.
And ever since then, it just clicked. It was, yeah.
Okay, we might as well move right into the second question. Right now, what is your primary replica that you're using and your loadout?
It is it's kind of more of a hybrid from an M16. It was more of like an M16A1. I have a 20-inch barrel on it. I have a full M16 style stock on it. I am going to be switching that over to a retractable stock soon. But yeah, that's pretty much what just your basic M16 DMR.
Now, is that HPA or is that an AEG?
Yeah, it's an HPA with a, it's the amped version of the Polar Star Jack.
Okay, got ya.
So I'm not sure what they call it.
So is that the only one you have, or is that the only primary you're using right now?
No, I have a KWA. I can't remember what it is. It's more of like a in between a DMR and an SBR. That's HPA'd as well. I have a Jagarm scattergun tapped HPA. My sidearm would be a 1911 TAC Elite Force.
Yeah, and I know I sold you the M&P 40 also.
Yep. I still have the M&P 40.
I actually, one guy asked me a question about that when he was looking at my sold stuff. And I said, yeah, the guy actually even shot me with that one the next week after we were playing. So this will get me into the next segue here. How did you get into the role of airsoft you're playing now? Like when I asked Joe or Rob, they're the CO, XO, whatever. Like what if you don't have like a listing like that? Are you like more of an assault player? Do you hang back? Like what is your role?
My specific role for Wolfpack would be recon. I run our recon squad. I'm the recon leader for it. Generally, my role is to get intel for the assault squads like Rob and Joe P and Joe C. And we tend to push an objective, gather flags, gather points, work with interactive objectives. Like when you go to Downfall, there's satellites you have to do, stuff like that. Anything that a recon squad can interact with, we generally do to secure those points.
Awesome.
And we get all that intel over to the assault squads, especially if there's larger forces moving in towards their position.
That's pretty cool. I like that. Now I asked this to Rob and like when I asked Joe P and a couple other people, what camo types do you have? Now I know you have the one for your squad, but do you own any other type of camos? And what kind of camo is that you have for the squad? You can go tell me that.
Cryptic Mandrake. Our Cryptic Mandrake is green, considering, but you can go on all kinds of different websites, and Cryptic Mandrake will come up as like a real dark green, a mid green, You can find it in brown, but the true brown of that is the Cryptic Highlander, I believe. But any other camos, generally, no. I don't have any other camo except for what we use for our squad.
Okay. But you consider that would be considered green wherever you go.
Yeah,
Do stuff. Okay.
yeah,
Thanks.
it used to be considered tan, but there was so many problems with it with the Cryptic and the multicam. So they wound up a lot of fields now just consider it green.
Cool. Cool. Hey, that brings up to my next question here. What do you think about playing this time of year in the snow and the cold? What's your opinion?
I've done it. I don't like it. Um, I've played in the cold and the snow down at your place before. Um, it's fun to an extent as long as you have good people to play with. Uh, but generally, I won't make it a purpose to go out and play in the snow and the cold. It has to be at least 40 degrees for me to go out because
Like most of the people were telling me, it has to be a decent temperature.
yeah, not so much for me, but mainly my gear. Like my HPA guns, they tend to not work well in the cold. Um, I have an HPA gun that works great in the rain, and I have another one that it won't work at all in the rain. And it's like when moisture gets inside of it, it just wants to double feed and triple feed, and it jams up, and it don't like it.
I
So,
understand
and
that. Now, I know like the recent temperatures that we had, like we're in the single digits, and that one day it was -11 here at my house. I just totally refuse if it's below zero to go outside and do anything. Normally, and
Mhm.
airsoft, I wouldn't do it either.
Yeah, I just got done building a replica PDW for a night game that we play. And I was outside for about an hour and a half doing some tuning on it, shooting it. And the cold killed the battery. It did. And I probably put maybe 200 rounds through it. And I was like, well, that's a brand new battery. So that's another reason why I don't like playing in the cold.
Plus, it messes around with your hop up too, gets it colder, which
Yeah.
makes it over hop more and things like that, or under hop or whatever.
Yeah.
So this brings up the next one, which is what is your favorite field and why? And it can be past or present field that you've been to or that's closed now or that's still open, whatever. So go ahead.
My favorite field for indoor is plains, which a lot of people love plains. I know my first time playing there is when I met you. And I remember when you chronoed me, that was that MP7 I was using, and it was shooting like 107 FPS, and I thought it was great. And you're like, "Yeah, no, you're good. You're way under. You're good." Um, but the staffing, the people is what makes it for planes. I wish it was still there. I especially wish planes was still there for now on how experienced I am with playing airsoft. That I could enjoy it now to the knowledge I have. My other favorite field is EMR because they have so many different open areas. They have the big town. They have the Pines, which I don't really care for the Pines,
Yeah,
but
me either.
it's an interesting concept. The castle, I love the castle. I love when it comes to storming the castle and clearing the bottom and top floors of the castles. That's to me, that's the bread and butter right there.
Now, last year, Tim cleared out more of Margaritaville and opened up more of that area there. And we've been playing quite a few open plays there too. And that's interesting as well.
Yeah, I think if Tim wound up readjusting Margaritaville a little bit more, it would be a lot nicer. I do enjoy playing Margaritaville, especially climbing through the brush because there are some like they're essentially deer trails through the brush that you can crawl through on top of the mounds where the pipes are going through. And that's a lot of fun. It is.
Now, he doesn't use it, but he used to. Down below Margaritaville, which is supposed to be part of that, there is a woods area right before it drops way off the hill that was supposed to be part of Margaritaville, but he always stops at that wood line so you don't go in the woods. Now, we
Yeah.
actually played once there. It was a lot of fun having that woods all the way through that one section there.
Yeah. Yep. That's nice down in there. Um, I believe they use that for LARPing events down in there too. Because
Yeah,
when you
that's
get
pretty
down in
pretty
that
heavy
lower
down there.
hill, um, you
Have you
see all
ever
kinds of
been to
yellow.
Cookies Chaos in New Jersey before it closed?
I was at one event in New Jersey. I can't remember what it was for. It was probably 4 years ago or so.
That's
It
right
may
about
have
when he
been.
closed.
It was for a uh, it was for like a post-apocalyptic event.
Sort of like a wasteland was there.
Yeah, I think it was Wasteland. Yeah, it was the
Yeah,
event
that was the
Wasteland.
last time it was there when Cookies had it, and then he closed up.
Yeah, then yeah, I was at Cookies Chaos. It's a bunch of woods and whatnot and swamp.
It's a rather large field. He never used all of it like they used to in the old, like when I used to go
Mm.
there like 10 years ago. But I miss that field. This brings up the next question: like, what is the max distance you personally will travel to go to an event or an op or an open play? You can differentiate between the two. You know what the distance would be.
An open play, depending on what they have to offer, would be probably about maybe 2 hours or so. Um, I know we've went down to Allentown, Phoenix Action Sports down there. That was about an hour and a half, 2 hours, somewhere around there. Uh,
How
Zulu
far is
24,
EMR from you?
uh, about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Um, Somewhere around there. I know depending on what road you take, but generally it's a straight shot. It is.
So
So,
2 hours for open plays. What about like going to an op, an event? It's a big one.
um, it depends on what they would have to offer, and it depends on the price of the event. Um, I would like to try a big event like a Milsom West event. You're talking they're like $240 somewhere around there. I would travel 15, 16 hours for it. I would, but I wouldn't travel it by myself. I would want to go with a bunch of friends and whatnot, to make it at least make that long haul more enjoyable. I have a friend that lives out in Wisconsin, um, which I do plan on this summer getting out there and playing some ops with him. And that's around 14 hours.
That's a haul. That's a haul.
So, and he drives that twice a year straight through to come out and play two events out here with us every year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, like there are new fields like opened up, like Warzone down below New Jersey. You got Soft Air. You got like Ambush, Poco Loco, things like that. Have you guys? I know you guys have been to Poco Loco, but have you been to like Ambush or any of the other new fields? Like Atlas is open now, OTP. Or I don't think you've ever been to Warzone. That just opened up recently.
No. I just heard about Warzone when the other night Rob mentioned you guys were talking about it. I've never heard of it. OTP, I can't ever say I've been there. Poco Loco, I've personally never been.
Okay. Because like the thing with OTP, that for me, that's like 3 hour drive.
Mm,
Uh, you know, Warzone is like almost 3 hour drive from my location, so that would be like maybe 3.5 or something like that for you to go down to Warzone.
yeah, yeah,
And
because I'm
the
about an hour away from you.
yeah, that's a haul. When you're talking 3 to 4 hours to go somewhere, like usually you like would want to go the night before, stay overnight, and then go to the op the next day if that was something that we would want to do.
Yeah, I know. Me and a couple guys are planning on going up to Buffalo Battlegrounds in Owego, New York, and
Is that right over the
that
border?
I believe so. It's about 4 hours away, 4 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's not right in Buffalo. It's this side of Buffalo toward lower, like southern part of the state.
Yeah, it would be considered Buffalo, but it's an Owego address. It's not actually a
That's true.
Buffalo address. Um, I know their pricing was a bit kind of like it's like $20 for every 2 hours you play.
Wow.
So yeah, you figure, and you can play up to, I think it's like up to 10 hours up there. And you're talking it's like $100, $120 to play for the whole day.
That's a little cheap.
And
That's a little steep.
yeah, yeah. But they fill air and whatnot. They have a really nice field. They have a restaurant inside. Um, Inside the restaurant, they have these big plexiglass windows where you can see half the field and whatnot. It's really cool. Me and a couple guys are planning on trying here in March to get up there and at least try it. And because it's a 4 hour drive, 4.5 hour drive, we're going to try to get a hotel. We're going to go in, check in at the hotel, go to the field, play, and then when we're done, we can go back to the hotel and crash and then get rested up and head home in the morning. So that way we're not playing 5, 6 hours for the day, plus a total of like 8, 9 hours worth of driving.
Yeah, that would get old really quick. That'd be like, when I'm looking at going down to Atlas, the Mike keeps inviting me down to Atlas. That's like 4 hour drive, and I'm like,
Mm.
4 hours, and then for an open play, and I don't know. But also, there's a new field with OXL closing Lingelstown. There's a new field in Dillard, which is like 20 minutes south of there. It's supposed to be Dillard Paintball. It's supposed to be opening. And then there's another paintball place that's out in the center of the state toward like the state college. It's supposed to be opening too. They're just starting airsoft. So I'd like to try some of these places. Maybe we can drag everybody out and see if we can get these places, see how they are.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing to do is, get as many people together as possible and at least try it once.
Yeah,
Because you never know, you might find a hidden gem.
that's true. And that's what I'm looking to do to try some of these places out. When you go to a field, like a new field or something like that, what turns you off when you're playing at a field? Okay, what aspect of the field turns you off? And you might not go there again.
Um, there's a few things actually. The staffing. If I go to a field, I want to be treated like a person, not income, even though
Got you.
I'm getting. Because if there's a lot of turnoffs of, especially if I wind up getting into a field where I don't want to go back to, instead of bashing them and putting their name out there, I just judge them with my wallet. I don't go back. Um, like the reffing. Um, I know there's a few fields where the reffing needs to. The reffing staff needs a little more knowledge on how to handle an airsoft event. And granted, it's a little different than paintball, which reffing for paintball, which I've done that before in the past. That was one of my jobs when I was like 15. And you have to be interactive and whatnot. And unfortunately, our airsoft is more of an honor system when you get shot. It's not visual like paintball. Um, but like the chronoing rules, there's been a few fields that I've seen where they're like, well, 400 FPS with 0.25 BBs. It doesn't matter whether it's uh, HPA or AEG. Well,
No,
wait a
that's
minute.
not good.
That's not gonna fly, and you're using a paintball chrono. It's like I understand. Yes, the gun is still registering. Well, the replicas. They're still registering at 400 with those BBs. But then if you have an HPA that gets into the jewel creep with the BBs and whatnot, and then that gets into some sketchy territory, which that could be a whole nother video. Um,
So
I
it's
don't like.
refs' knowledge. If they don't have it,
Yeah,
that you know,
yeah. I've seen refs bluntly argue with me that, well, we're going to give you 100-foot engagement distance with your HPA because air expands. Come again? So,
eh,
and I was like, that's not what you do. And he took my replica from me, and he goes, well, this is what we're going to do. So wait a minute. I have a gun build here, and you're going to just swipe it from me and be like, look, this is what we're going to do. That was a bad experience, and I mentioned it to the field owner, and he's like, "Well, air does expand." I said, "Okay." I said, all right. I'm not going to argue with you on this. Um, I've just never went back. I would go back to that field again because they have great playing areas to offer. It could have been a fluke. That was a couple years ago. They could be more knowledgeable now. There's a couple other things too that I don't like that turns me off is when I go to a field with my team and especially friends on other teams. I don't want to be told that you can't play as a team together because this is not a team practice. This is an open play. Granted, I like the concept, and you know what field I'm talking about on this. I like the concept of mix matching everybody and becoming friends with everybody and helping everybody out. I would take the time to put my stuff aside, go walk out on the field and help new players. But there's you pay good money to play at certain fields, and you want to at least play a couple rounds with your team.
Got you.
At
Got you.
least one or two. Um, but yeah, I mean that's basically it. It's the staff knowledging. I've seen fields push it to the extent of where you can't play with your team, and it almost feels personal. It does at times, but
Yeah, I've seen that too. But then
um,
on the other hand, I've seen this at the arena when I used to be there. You'd get a team come in there of, seasoned CQB players, and all that's left is noobs, and they would be overrunning them all the time. So that's why you would
yeah,
want to split them up a little bit. But
yeah.
it depends. It depends on the field and the crowd that's there too. A lot of times. Um, Now, this one I changed up a little bit. The original question, what is your funniest story you have while playing airsoft? But I actually had a couple people tell me, well, I don't have a funny story, but I have a memorable story. So this is, what is your funniest or most memorable story while playing in airsoft?
Um, my most memorable stories, I'm well known for having pyrotechnics go off right by my head or getting attached to my gear at events. Um, there was one, I don't know if you've seen the video for it. We can actually send you the video. Uh, a grenade came from the castle into Titman Town, and it wound up exploding right here at my head. And in the video, you can see where it just sent me for a roll. Everybody freaked out and came running over to me, which that's that was awesome to begin with. And uh, one of the event coordinators came over and they're screaming ceasefire. I got up and I said, "Nope, I'm good. You guys keep playing. I'm just gonna walk off the field." I walked off the field, got some rest and whatnot, got some water and stuff, and about an hour later, I was good. I mean, I had a pretty good headache.
Was that a
Um,
tagging round or one of the encapsulated grenades that they sell?
that was the black like paper mache Enola Gay grenades, the
It's
pea
yeah, like
grenades.
RB7 or something like that. It's called.
Yeah, they're not like the newer ones that Taggin makes. They're like that paper mache kind of deal.
Is there like BBs or Ps or whatever inside that one when it went off?
Yeah, there's biodegradable BBs in there. They're like a little like biodegradable like clay BB.
Oh, jeez, that must have. Did you have any marks from it on your face or neck or anything?
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. I had
Wow.
all kinds of BB welts all right down the side of my face and whatnot. I did, and after that, I wound up because my ears were ringing so bad. After that event, I ordered earmuffs. I did, so I wound up getting the ones that mount onto my bump helmet, and I just run my comms through it now. So that kind of scared me a little bit because I had some hard time hearing for a while.
Trust me, I understand that completely. That's why I put the side shields on my helmet. As a ref, I got shot in my ear by a guy, and that was not
Hmm.
fun. So this is a question I basically put in there for myself, but How long do you think you're going to keep playing airsoft? Okay, down the road.
I would play as long as I can. I would, as long as my body allows it, and as long as finances allow. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'd I'd play up until I can't play anymore. I would.
Now I'm gonna add two questions which I added for Joe too. Do you like playing more on a Saturday or a Sunday, or doesn't it matter?
Um, I've done open plays and events where it's just been on a Saturday, and I've done open plays on Sundays. It don't really matter to me.
Okay, the next one, which I've got a lot of different answers on. Do you think a pistol is effective in airsoft using a pistol
Oh,
or having
absolutely.
one, I should say?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, I bought a pistol. I did. It was an ACP APS, same one that Rob uses.
Yeah, yeah.
That was my first one I ever bought, and I was using that in the castle, and I wound up. I used that because at the time I had a 249, so I had a very minimum engagement distance with that where I couldn't use it in the castle. So I used my pistol, and I got a few eliminations with it. It was a lot of fun. I see guys come to um, big events, the 12-hour events and whatnot, and they run 2 days long, and they're running a HPA tapped pistol with a drum mag. And we have a guy on our team now that just built a high kappa build. I think it was they have the four point something series, and then they have the full size 5.1, I believe, series high kappas.
Yeah, yeah.
But he did the 5 something series high kappa with a drum mag on it. He did, and he'll run that all day at an open play, or he'll run that half the day at an event, and he puts some time and money into it, and it shoots really nice. I
Those
would.
are a lot of fun to do. I've been doing that a lot in the open plays too. So it's like they're a lot of fun. Well,
Mm.
this was awesome that you were able to come on here, Chase, and give me answered all these questions. And I think it went really well. One last thing that I want to end with, just if you want to give a little blurb on your team, that would be fine. It's up to you if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I've been with Wolfpack for, oh, let's see here. We just got done Downfall 7. We're going into Downfall 8. So I've been with Wolfpack for 7 years. I started out as a basic player, and then over time, as people come and go, which naturally that happens with teams, I became a squad leader. I took that position. I enjoy it. Um, our team generally is pretty much relaxed. I think we have right around 15, 20 consistently active players. I think we have right around between 30 and 40 people in our team chat. We
Okay.
do. Unfortunately, not all the guys are in situations where they can play consistently, but it's nice to see them when they can come out and play.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I look forward to having you out the field again, maybe in March if you get a chance.
Yep,
Uh,
that's the 26th, I believe.
yep. And I appreciate you being on. And like, you have a good day today. I'm going to end this right here, and we'll see you later, Chase.
Have a good one, Keeper. Thanks for having me.